Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to kind of give y'all a different video on a different card game, and that is Dragon Ball Super. Now, I know I've talked about this a couple times in some of my latest videos, and I think today is just going to be one of those days where I just give y'all a different video. You know, I kind of want to branch out into other games, not just do Pokemon TCG all the time, but don't fear, I've got some big things coming up in the future. I'll be able to let everybody know after this weekend exactly what's going on. But about 3 months from now, we've got a pretty big thing coming up. It's going to be pretty big for the channel, pretty big for everyone all around. But anyway, guys, let's get right into this. This is kind of going to be a Dragon Ball Super 101 and how to play. So, more about the basic rules than a how to play video. But first of all, there's some few things you need to know that are different from Pokemon. And first thing is, this is a 50 card deck. This is not a 60 card deck. This is a 50 card deck. So you're 10 cards short. When you go straight from Pokemon to Dragon Ball, the deck feels really thin because there's just not as many cards here. There's 10 cards missing. Secondly, you have a leader card. Every Dragon Ball Super deck will have a leader card, and technically this is your 51 card. So I guess it's actually a 51 card deck. But this is your leader card. This is your main attacker. This is the guy that powers your entire deck. So let's get started. How do you play? What do you do first? So first of all, everybody draws 6 cards. Both players, you draw 6 cards. This is your starting hand. You find out what's in it. Now, you're looking at this hand and you're like, hey, there's some cards in here that I need later on in the game. I don't need them right now. I really wish I had different cards in your hand. Well, that's where a mulligan comes in. Now, mulligans are different in Dragon Ball Super than they are in Pokemon. In Pokemon, if you mulligan, it means you do not have a basic Pokemon to put in the active area, and that means your opponent gets to draw an extra card at the beginning of the game. Not so in Dragon Ball Super. Dragon Ball Super, a mulligan is, well, I'm looking through here, oh man, I don't need those 3 cards right there. Those cards are better at the end of the game. I think I want to put those back in the deck. And you're able to do that. Once at the beginning of the game, you're able to mulligan away however many cards you want, whether that be 1 card, 4 cards, 6 cards, it doesn't matter. You can mulligan your entire hand away. You just take those cards, put them back on top of your deck, and then shuffle your deck real well. Randomize it up real good, however way you like, whether you mash shuffle or you riffle shuffle. I prefer the riffle myself. For the sake of this video and time, I'll probably just do the mash shuffle from now on. But, you know, I prefer the riffle shuffle. But anyway, you put them back in there, and then now you only have 3 cards in hand. Well, everybody has a starting hand of 6, so you draw back up until you have 6 cards. 6 cards in hand, no matter what you drew, you are stuck with those 6 cards. That is your opening hand. Not a big deal. You know, being able to mulligan once like that is awesome, being able to get rid of however many cards you want to. And then next up, you do your life points. Now, your life points is how many times this guy right here can be hit without you losing the game. And there are 8 of those. So instead of like in Pokemon where you have 6 prize cards, in Dragon Ball Super you have 8 life points. Just consider that your HP for your leader card, because this is basically you. This leader card is you. If this guy gets hit, you lose a life point, which means you take it and you put it into your hand. If that happens and you lose all of your life points, then you lose the game. The goal is to make the other player take all of their life points before you lose all of your life points. That is the entire goal of the game. So first off, if you go first, well, first you flip a coin, heads or tails, you know, whatever you call it, you determine whether you go first or second. If you go first, you do not get to draw a card. If you go second, you get to draw a card. Now, the advantage to going first is you get to lay down your energy sooner, so you're always 1 energy ahead. You know, I lay down an energy, then he'll lay down an energy. Then I'll lay down 2 energies on turn 2, and I'll have 2 energies, and then he'll only have 1 energy while I'm swinging at him. Now, the advantage to going second is you get to draw a card at the beginning of your turn. So I'm just going to play here like I'm going second. So my opponent, he's mulliganed, he's put out his life points, he's laid down an energy card, and he's passed turn. So I'll draw a card like this. I drew for turn, and then I will lay down an energy. You always draw, unless you go first, On your first turn, you don't draw. But the rest of the game, you always draw, and then you lay down an energy. And an energy can be any card in your deck. It can be this card, it can be this card, it can be this card. It does not matter. It can be any card in your deck. If it's a worthless card, you're like, hey, that card is not doing me any good in my hand. I want to just lay it down there and get it out of my hand. I don't really think I'm going to need it. So here we go. I'll just use it as an energy. Now, to play cards, you have to pay their energy cost. So right here, I have a Revenge Death Ball. And this card has an awesome ability. When I attack, and the way you attack is you turn your card sideways. A little bit magic-y here. You kind of get the magic vibe going on. But you turn your card sideways and say, hey, I'm swinging at your leader with my leader. And I want to play Revenge Death Ball. If you read down here on the wording, this says Activate Battle. And it says it costs 1 red energy. I don't know if you can see that right there. But up there on the side, it'll say 1 red energy. Have a 1 and then it'll have a red dot. That means you have to pay 1 red energy to play this card. So what you do is you play it and then you tap your red energy. And you say, well, I've played that card. Here's all the effects. This is what it does. And then you put it into the discard pile. And you've tapped your 1 energy out for that turn. You also, when you swing, you follow through with whatever effects your opponent has or your leader has. Like mine allows me to draw a card if I swing at another leader card, which I of course would because I want to draw that card. And then you do everything you can. I've only got 1 energy, so I can't really do that much. And you pass turn. And your opponent goes through and does everything, and say he swings at your leader and you're not able to block it with something like a negate. There are things called negates, and this costs 1 energy. If I had 1 energy, I could play it, and this stops their attack. Now that their attack is stopped, it pluses my guy by 5,000, effectively making him a 15,000 opponent. But for the sake of argument, I couldn't do that because my energy was tapped. So I have to take a life point. He swung into my leader. I was like, well, I can't block it. I can't negate it. So I'll just take the hit, and I'll take that life point and put it in my hand. And then he passes turn. Now, when you pass turn, when it comes back to your turn, you untap everything like this. That's your untap phase. You automatically do that in between turns, and then you draw a card. And you look through your hand and say, well, I don't need this card, so I will use it as an energy card. Now I have 2 energy to play with, which means I can tap however many I need to and play whatever it is that I need to play. So super simple, super easy. As long as you read the cards and understand what they do, the decks are easy to play. There's a new starter deck that's out for the set 7. That is a beginner's deck. If you guys are looking to actually get into Dragon Ball Super, you can go and pick one of those up. There's also an expert deck that come out that's a few dollars more than the beginner deck. I don't know how easy they are to play. I haven't played either one of them, but I would recommend going and picking those up because they give you a lot of good staple cards, and they they'll teach you how to play, and they'll come like with a little paper play mat and stuff like Pokemon does. But that's basically how you play the game. And once you run out of life points, once your opponent has knocked you down so far that you lose your last life point, then you lose. That is the end of the game. No more anything. You can't. I mean, game over. It's just like losing. It's just like taking all your prize cards, only kind of backwards because you're losing life points instead of gaining prize cards. It's a little bit different. It's a little bit hard to wrap your mind around if you're coming straight from the Pokemon game, but it is a lot of fun to play, and it's a lot cheaper than Pokemon, in my honest opinion. Some decks aren't, but most decks are. I mean, if you're going for a Victory Strike Goku, then it's not really cheaper. But for decks like what I've got going on here, this is called the Vegeta Baby deck because of its leader. It is a Vegeta Baby. It does really well. It's kind of an older deck now, but it plays fairly well, and I'm enjoying it. And so I thought I'd share it with you guys, and that's pretty much the gist of how you play Dragon Ball Super. I mean, there's more to it because you got to learn the cards and read the cards, follow the skills, follow the autos and stuff like that. But that is the 101. That is the absolute basics. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching this video. Hope y'all enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.